Hello students, welcome to your business studies class. So we are discussing chapter number 4 planning, in which we had discussed in the previous lectures about the meaning of planning, then characteristics, importance and limitations of planning. In today's lecture we would be discussing about the various steps that are involved in the planning process. Steps in planning process. We know that planning is a process of making decisions regarding what to do and how to do. Planning is an activity of decision making and in which we have to follow certain logical steps. The steps followed by a manager while formulating plans can be listed as follows. Step number 1, setting objectives, then developing premises, identifying alternative courses of action, then evaluating alternative courses of action, selecting an alternative, implementing the plan and follow up. So basically these are the steps in the planning process. Like first we have to set the objectives at what we have to achieve. Then we have to develop the premises, that is we have to make the assumptions. Once we have done this, then we have to identify the various alternative courses of action that are available through which we can achieve our objectives. Then we have to evaluate those alternative courses of action and we have to select a best alternative course of action. After selecting, we have to implement that plan, and after implementation the work of the manager is not over. We have to do the follow-up function also. Now I have given one acronym for this, that is SPICE-IF. So you can learn these steps in the planning process through this acronym, that is SPICE-IF. S stands for setting objectives, P stands for developing premises, I stands for identifying alternative courses of action, E stands for evaluating alternative courses of action, S stands for selecting an alternative, I stands for implementing the plan, and F stands for follow-up. So you can remember the steps through the help of this acronym also. Now in today's lecture we would be discussing the first 4 steps in the planning process, and the next 3 steps we would be discussing in the next lecture. Now the first step of the planning process is setting objective. We know that every business organization should have established their general and specific objectives, goals, short-term and long-term targets, not only for the organization but for each department, each division, and in fact for each employees of the organization. Now these objectives specify what the organizations want to achieve. These objectives can be set for the entire organization and stated to each department within the organization very clearly to determine how all departments would contribute towards overall objectives. Then these have to percolate down, that means filter down to all the employees at all the levels so that they understand how their actions contribute to achieving objectives. For example, an objective of increasing sales by 20% in the next quarter, or the objective could be to achieve sales or increase sales, expansion of business, etc. So the first thing is that the objective should be set, should be clear, and should be percolate down to all the employees, to all the departments at all the levels, so that they are clear that what actually they have to achieve. After setting the objective, now the next step in the planning process is developing the premises. Now, since planning is futuristic and it has to depend on certain assumptions of what might happen in the future, so these assumptions which provide the basis for planning are called the premises. So plans are made on the basis of some assumptions only. Therefore, manager is required to make certain assumptions about the future which are considered to be the base material upon which plans are to be drawn. They can be internal premises or external premises. Let's say internal premises are cost of products, capital, machinery, profitability, etc. That means the assumptions about these things. And external premises, changes in technology, population growth, competition, government policies, etc. For example, most plans are based on forecasting as it provides basic information to prepare plans. All managers must understand that forecasting can be used as a technique of collecting information required to prepare plans. Let's say several business firms in India prepared plans for expansion of their business when government announces its policy of opening up the telecommunications and insurance to private sector. So that is, we have to develop the premises, we have to make certain assumptions on the basis or the forecasting on the basis of which the plans are to be based. Next step is identifying various courses of action. So once the objectives are established and assumptions are made, the next step is to determine the alternative courses of action which may be used to achieve the set objectives. Now there is hardly any plan for which alternatives do not exist. As we had discussed this earlier also, that if we don't have any option, then we have no choice and we have to do with the or carry out with our plans, so whatever the things are available to us. But if we have alternatives, if we have various ways of doing a particular thing, then we have to apply our mind, decision making is involved, and then we have to identify the various courses of actions through which we can achieve our objectives. So here a manager makes a list of alternatives through which the organization can achieve its objective, as there can be many ways to achieve the objectives and managers must know all of them. So generally there are many alternatives to achieve those objectives. For example, let's say if we have to increase our sale by 20%, so we have various options like by enhancing advertising expenditure, appointing salesman for door-to-door sales, by offering discounts, by adding more product lines. Now if let's say if we want to increase our profit, then we can go for purchasing new high-speed machines or increasing the selling price, using waste material in manufacturing stuffed toys. Another example, let's say that suppose if the goal of a firm is growth of business, then firm has many ways like expansion in the same product line, taking over some other business companies, producing new products, joint ventures, increasing exports to existing or new market, etc. So that means first we need to set the objectives, then we have to develop the premises, that is the assumptions or forecasting, and after this we need to identify the various courses of actions that are available to achieve our objective. After identifying the various alternative courses of action, now the next step is to evaluate various alternatives. That means we cannot just take any of the alternative and we can carry out with our plans. We need to evaluate that which plan suits our or which alternative suits our plan or through which we can achieve our objectives in a better way. So for that we need to evaluate the various alternative courses of action. So positive and negative aspects of each and every proposal need to be evaluated, maybe in the light of its the objectives, cost, risk, planning premises, benefits, availability of capital, etc. So the feasibility and consequences of each alternative, please remember how we evaluate that. We check on the basis of the feasibility and the consequences of each alternative must be scrutinized before a choice is made. For example, in financial plans, risk-return trade-off are important. Riskier the investment, higher the returns it is likely to give. To evaluate such proposals, detailed calculations of earnings, taxes, earning per share, etc. should be done. So what we have done, that first we have set the objectives, then we have developed the premises, identified the various courses of action, and then we have evaluated the various alternatives that are available to us. So we have discussed today the first 4 steps in the planning process, that is setting objectives, that means set targets and results, then developing premises, that is assumptions, predictions regarding the future, identifying alternative courses of action, that means finding various alternatives or various options available to achieve the objectives, and evaluating alternative courses of action, that is comparing all the available options with their pros and cons and choosing the best one. And the remaining 3 steps we would be discussing in the next lecture. Till then, please read these process through your NCERT also and make your notes. Thank you, children.